Hey guys, okay, so in this video I'm going to show you about how you would use a variable vanishing point to create a slope on an object in 2-point perspective. So you guys can see here I've got my box drawn in with the two vanishing points here and here. And then obviously I've got my variable vanishing point right up here. And if you remember from the videos about stairs, you use the variable vanishing point to show the angle of the slope. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw this box with a lid slightly open on it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw my spine, right? My corner of the lid. Now, I wouldn't draw it like this because the lid is open, so the corner is automatically tilted, right? You're actually going to do something very technical. You're going to eyeball that angle. You're just going to kind of guess at it. I'm going to be honest with you. There is this again goes back to, we're a little bit off the science of perspective, and now we're on to the art of perspective. So you're just going to kind of tilt the corner of the lid a little bit, kind of what you think it should be. And then you're going to draw your vanishing lines up to that variable vanishing point to get the start of the lid. Now this side of the lid, because it's not up at an angle, it's going to go back to the same vanishing point as the box, right? So now what you should see is one side of the lid, the side that's still touching the box, is using the same right-hand vanishing point as the right-hand side of the box. And the lid, which is up in the air, on the left side, is using the variable vanishing point. Now, how do we close off this end of the lid? Remember how we had to eyeball this thing right here? Well, we're going to do that again here. We're going to kind of eyeball this edge of the lid. You're going to make it kind of match the same angle, the same tilt as the one closest to you. And then you're going to draw your vanishing lines up to that variable point on that side. And then same thing here with this edge of the lid. Now, obviously, if you're in Photoshop, you can use a ruler to measure what this distance would be. You would then draw another line, cutting off the edge of the box, eyeballing the angle of this lid right there. Now you can see that all four corners of the lid, I have tilted them and matched, just as best I can, the angle at which they're tilted. You can, if you want to get super technical about it, you can select this and then pull it this way and pull it this way. You can do that in Photoshop or Procreate in order to get your angle right. Or as you practice drawing it, like I just did, you can just eyeball it. But then you're going to take this top corner and you're going to drag it back over here to this vanishing point. And this gives you the open lid of the box in perspective. You guys should be able to see this beginning to take shape just like this. Just like that. Oh, let me get this back lid. There you go. Now you have got a box with an open lid, with the lid correctly in perspective. And as I pointed out, you were using this vanishing point, the variable vanishing point, to get the slope of the lid, to get the angle of the lid. Now, what if we were going to do a barn like this? How would we do a building? Well, as you guys can see, I started with my box. I've got my vanishing lines drawn right here. Oops, drawn on the wrong layer. Got my vanishing lines drawn right here. right here to build out the edges of the box. But as you can see, this, I went ahead and did a cross piece to find my midpoint. This should start to look familiar to you guys. It should remind you of how we found the midpoint of our characters. This is going to find the midpoint of our barn. And so I'm going to draw a line up through this to get exactly where the pitch of the roof would be. And then I'm going to draw a line from one corner to the pitch and from the other corner to the pitch, and this gets the eave of the roof. And then in order to get the roof line, you draw this back, you follow it all the way to the vanishing line, as you can see, and then connect this line down just like that. So in 2-point perspective with a roof, I could have use my variable vanishing point. And if I'd done that on this drawing, my roof actually would not have had quite as steep of a pitch. You guys can see that would be not quite as steep, and then I would actually have my line right there. I could have done that, or in 2-point perspective, you don't have to use this variable vanishing point, but you do have to use the midpoint. You do have to do this part. So you find the midpoint by crossing a corner and then pulling the line up through the middle of the barn, just like that. Same thing on this side. Say I wanted to put a dormer on this side of the barn. Again, I'm going to find my midpoint. It's right there. Remember, this line is always perpendicular to the horizon line. It runs up through here. Now, I can draw my little dormer back. This edge is going to go back to this vanishing point. This edge is going to go back to this vanishing point right here. Oops, actually I did that wrong. This edge does not go to that vanishing point. This edge would run up to the roof line, just like that, following this same angle. So this line follows the same angle of the roof. And now you can see we've got a little dormer drawn into our barn like so. And what was key about that was getting this midpoint here so that I can get the pitch of the roof, just like that. Now, in the last video I'm going to show you guys is how to do a character in 2-point perspective.